it.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Morning Vibe, and welcome to, I guess, really our first full sit-down interview on the Morning Vibe with another content creator. We've done a lot over on the main channel. You're kind of our first one on the Morning Vibe. So if you guys are not familiar, this is Jack Moran from the Yakking with Jack YouTube channel, Facebook. I'm so leery about using the word YouTuber anymore because it's not that anymore. It's content creation now. It's not just YouTube. You've been in the game for a little while though, right? Like you've been doing this for a minute.
Yeah, almost 6 years now, almost.
Gotcha. You will have to move up just a little bit closer there. There you go. All right, we got it. Everybody has to get adjusted to the microphone. So obviously the last, I feel like the last 6 to 9 months, your channels have just been like exploding all over the place. What's going on that's attributing to that growth here recently?
I mean, constantly posting is probably the biggest thing, and I finally got lucky and had a video take off, and I just steamrolled with it.
That's right. And we talked about that right before we sat down. It's so vital to ride the wave when it comes. Because you grind, and it looks like it's going to take forever, and then all of a sudden it only takes one video, and then it's like, boom, here we go now. And then at that point, you just kind of have to ride the wave. It's if you guys are not familiar, Yakking with Jack, he does a ton of fishing here in the Panhandle. You run shark fishing charters.
Yeah, not anymore.
No, you don't do the shark fish. Okay,
I sold the business.
Oh, okay. Well,
I still shark fish though. But
he did a ton of shark fishing. He caught some massive sharks. I've seen you land like big hammerheads out here. What's the biggest shark you've ever pulled up here on the beach?
Personally, on the rod was we didn't get an accurate measurement, but it was 11.9, and I couldn't even reach the head.
Was that a hammerhead or just
tiger shark?
Tiger shark.
Smack dab in the middle of the winter.
Really? That's crazy. Because these guys, or do you use the remote control boats, or did you? So I'm not scared of sharks. Like I'm really not. Like I just posted a video on the main channel a week ago, and my buddy was down, and he has an irrational fear of sharks. So we caught just like a little 3.5 foot Atlantic sharp nose on the boat, and made him touch it and do all that. And then we took it home. We did a catch, clean, and cook. I do have an issue with kayaking out with shark bait in the boat. It's just like, for me personally, I'm like, it's a terrible idea. I'm like, it's like, you're if you guys have never seen this, so what these guys do, they've got big, basically deep sea setups that they're on the beach with. And you can't really cast those. And even if you could, you can't cast them out far. So they jump on kayaks and just like go out. And here's the kicker. You don't shark fish during the day. You shark fish at night. So they're just, you're cruising out like a mile out in the Gulf or whatever it is you guys are going with bloody shark bait in the back of your kayak with a big hook on it, just off into the abyss.
Don't mention the waves, the wind is hard. You might flip out there. It gets pretty weird.
Yeah, see, the first time I ever saw that, so this was long before I moved to Florida. I was still living in Kentucky at the time. And I don't know if they still allow it, but at that time, you could shark fish from the piers over in Panama City Beach. Now, I don't know if you still can, or I don't know how that works, but I remember that night, we always walked out on the pier, and I saw these guys dropping baits just right over the edge, and I'm like, they're shark fishing this close? I'm like, what the hell's going on? And then I look over, and there's this little guy down there in literally what looked like a little Pelican kayak from like Academy Sports or something. No knock on Pelican, but just not an ocean kayak. And they're like dropping baits down, and he takes off, and you can't see him. And I'm like, so what if something happens to him? And the guy's like, well, he's got a light and a whistle.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, well, that's not going to do anything for him if something happens to him out there. So it gets pretty sketchy out there.
It does. I mean, all your instinct says don't do it.
Yeah.
But then you're like, I want a big fish. You got to do it.
Now, have you ever thought about investing? Well, like when you were running shark fishing charters, did you ever think about investing in one of the bait boats, or was that just a no?
I have, but I was thinking like people are actually paying and they want to see you work for it. So I was like, I'm gonna keep on kayaking,
Yeah, but if you die and you can't finish the trip, they don't want to see that either.
Got life insurance.
Yeah, you got life insurance. So your wife wouldn't let you get the boat, is what you're saying. She made you run out with the kayak.
It's a big investment.
It is. Those boats are wildly expensive. And in case you guys don't know what we're talking about, everybody's seen remote control boats, but these are not like your normal remote control boat. You're talking $1,500, $2,500 for the lower end ones.
Yeah, very low end.
And they'll run you can get your bait out there and then drop it and bring the boat back. The upper end ones, I think I've seen them like $7,000, $8,000, $9,000.
They're
They're
really
high. Yeah.
My buddy Big John has one, and actually it's like a big game changer. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So rough seas or anything, you can just take it right out. You just stay dry. It's great.
Yeah, you don't have to get in the kayak and do all that. So, but now pretty much I'm gonna stop right here. Are you okay with me saying you're going full-time content creation? Or
Yeah,
do you want?
go
Okay.
ahead.
So right now we had a conversation earlier today. You're getting ready to go full-time content creation,
it
right?
happened today.
Today.
Yeah, last day at the job.
Really? Was
Yeah.
today? That's awesome. So welcome to the club of being full-time content creator. Are you excited, nervous?
Excited, nervous, scared, all the emotions going through, but I'm going fishing tomorrow, so I'm happy.
That's right. That's right. I actually fished it. I sent Jack some pictures earlier. Jack and I had never met before today. We've talked on several occasions, and I've been in the area at the galley 3 or 4 years now, and it's just there's so many people that you don't have a chance to meet because you are out making videos and doing stuff on your own, and it makes it really, really tough. So Jack and I met for the first time today in person. We had talked several times, but I actually caught my first pompano of the year today, which is absurd when you think, I know, finally, because it's like, which I say that, but I don't spend that much time on the beach. I need to do more beach fishing because I know the audience loves it and I enjoy it. It's just so convenient to hop on the Mako and go out. And
Especially when you're right there.
Yeah. I mean, I'm literally right across the street from the boat ramp. So it's tough when you got to drive 30 minutes to the beach. And in 30 minutes, sometimes I've already got a video made. That's right. And I'm back at the house, rather than running out there and setting all that stuff up. You do a wide range of stuff from kayak to beach to, I'm sure you do some boat fishing. What's your favorite type of fishing to do down here?
Offshore kayak fishing.
Offshore
That's
kayak.
my favorite.
And if you guys aren't familiar, you caught some like beasts from your kayak, offshore kayak fishing.
I mean, I did all right.
Yeah.
I don't want to toot my own horn, but
that's what this is all about. We're here talking about you. That's all we're doing today is talking about you. So it's fine. What's the biggest fish you've ever landed from your kayak?
Sailfish.
Really?
Yeah.
What about? I mean, I know you can't get an accurate measurement on them.
No, I couldn't, but it was over the half size of my kayak. My kayak was 13 and a half foot.
Yeah.
Big boy.
Oh, yeah. And then Sean Lawless, he caught one out there too. And was that just out there by Navarre near the wreck?
Yeah, Navarre. One was in Navarre and one was actually in Destin.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So, and we have a very, I guess the tuna run's kind of unique to us. I don't know. I don't hear that a lot of places. We have a very unique situation that happens here in January, February, depending on, the time of the year, where we can literally take kayaks less than a mile off the beach. Pretty much, right? I mean,
less than a mile.
Yeah, and you're able to hook blackfin tuna and catch them, and it's not uncommon. Like everybody that goes out there hooks one. Now, whether you land it or not, it's a whole nother story. But if you go out there and you just basically troll X wraps is what everybody's doing for the most part.
It's pretty easy. It's so easy a YouTuber can do it. You know what I mean?
It's funny you say that and that's a great topic of conversation. And I'm sure you see these comments too. I get comments all the time, and it's like, "Oh, Mr. YouTuber thinks he's the best fisherman around."
Oh Lord!
If you've ever watched my channel, I'm very open about the fact that I am not a good fisherman.
Yeah.
I have never once created a video and been like, "This is how you do it. This is the best way because this is my way." But for some reason, because we put this out there, it gives that persona like we think we're the end all be all fisherman, and nobody ever said that. We're just filming it. Like that's it. All we're doing is filming it.
And nobody ever sees the film when we go out there and spend hours and not catch a dang thing.
Yeah. It was funny when I sat down with Dar Sizzle, that was one of the main things. We talked about that for like 20 minutes. No matter what social media presence we have, we don't post pictures of the bad days. There's an ongoing joke down here among a lot of the content creators, and I'm sure everybody picks up on it. If you post a picture of the sunset at the beach, you got skunked that day. You didn't catch any fish. So that's kind of an ongoing joke. But, for the most part, there's just nothing. It's not like any other genre on YouTube or content creation in general where we do not control whether we make a video that day or not. Yeah. We really don't.
It's very true.
Yeah, so it's an interesting job to say the least, but Jack's been doing it very, very well as of late. Killing it on the short game. You've obviously, I've seen you put a lot of effort into your shorts here lately, whether it be on Facebook or on YouTube. Do you do all your own editing?
Yes.
Okay, so you do all your. Now, when you do your shorts, are you shooting those intentionally, or are you pulling from other content?
I'm pulling from other videos.
Yeah,
for sure. Like I got like a big backlog of old videos from when I first started YouTube. So I'm like, pick.
Yeah, and it's crazy because I've said before, and everybody in my audience knows this. I'm not a huge fan of shorts. No. Just because to me it kind of messes with the algorithm a little bit.
It definitely does. I noticed that.
So I would almost venture to say I'm scared of them to the point where, I don't really want, I have a very, very loyal audience for the size audience we have. We get a lot of views for the subscriber count that we have, but most of that is because I have a loyal audience, and it scares me to death to gain a bunch of subs from a short, and then those people never come back and watch my videos.
So. when you're in your case, I wouldn't even venture into it at all.
No, it's it's everybody asks. Of course I get the question all the time. Why don't you post shorts? Because like literally I'm scared. I mean, I've seen situations with other creators. I don't want to say it hurt them, because I don't think it necessarily hurt them, because anytime you're growing and you're putting your face in front of people, I don't think that's a bad thing. I firmly believe that. We've talked about that here before. It does worry me of bringing in an audience that's not going to come back and watch my videos, because everything is algorithm and number based in this game. And it's just, no matter what you do, if you go out and catch sailfish on a kayak, if you don't title and thumbnail that right, nobody cares.
Exactly.
It's sad, but it's true.
It's always the videos you don't think is going to do good that takes off. I'm like, this one's going to do good. Psych.
Yeah. What's your most shocking video you've ever posted? Like, you just posted it and you're like, yeah, it'd be okay, but then it just blew up.
How to fillet a sheephead.
Really?
Yeah, went right off like 40,000 views. Bam. I'm like, what?
Yeah,
what's going on?
And
it was filmed with a GoPro, not great quality, crappy audio, and it just took off.
And it's crazy how that works. And Jack touched on it there. Like, I've had videos where I've sank some effort into them, like literally hours filming a video, and you'll post it and it'll do nothing. And then I'll get pissed off and I'll go out and I'll make a video the next day, and it's literally one camera angle, terrible audio. I don't care what's going on, and I post the video and then it'll blow up. And it's like, what, are you kidding me right now? But it's not just us, it's everybody. I mean, it really is. So you live here your whole life? You've been
since I'm 11 years old, and I'm 35 now.
Okay,
yeah, so pretty much.
Pretty much. And you're from down in Navarre, right?
Actually Pensacola.
Oh, you live in Pensacola. Okay, awesome. So I know, how did that conversation go? Because I have a very, very supportive wife at home. I don't know your wife, but I have seen her on social media. We're friends on Facebook, and she seems super supportive of what you're doing.
She's very supportive.
I'm assuming that that was a long conversation between you and her about going full-time content creation.
It was. At first thing she did, she bought me a GoPro like 6 years ago, and I started like, oh, why not? I'm gonna try it.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden it started steaming, and I was like, holy crap, this is working. And then the check started coming in. She was like, go for it.
Yeah.
Then the Facebook check started coming in. Then she's like, eyes opened up. Then we finally got in a situation where we're financially stable enough, almost debt free. Like, you can do this. Let's make this jump.
Yeah.
And we decided to do it.
And you'll see I still own my wedding business, but we've dialed way back this year. I mean, we went from doing like 96 weddings last year, and I think we've only got like 18 on the books or something like that. So we do still own our own business, but I do that mainly to keep our name in the game, just in case anything happens.
Exactly.
It becomes, I don't want to say it becomes easy, but it becomes easier when you go full time, because like you said, if you've only got 3 days a week that you could fish, Friday afternoon, Saturday, Sunday, because of a job or whatever it is, and then it rains or the wind blows, you're done. It's hard to post a video that week. And now it's like you have the freedom. If it's going to be good in the morning, you can go in the morning. Exactly. If it's going to be good midday tomorrow, you can go midday tomorrow. So it makes a huge difference as far as your content's concerned. So
I'm super pumped for this.
Yeah.
I'm not going to miss a good bite anymore,
No,
unless,
you
got family duties.
Sure, absolutely. Believe it or not, actually, one of Jack's videos was one of the very first ones I ever saw when I moved to Florida. You were fishing in a tournament, I believe, over in Texas. You and one of your buddies went over there.
Ride the bull.
Yeah. That was one of the very first. And what had happened? So many people think that I came from Kentucky as this bass fisherman, and no, that's not how that happened. I came to Florida pretty much. Yeah. So I came to Florida from Kentucky, and I'd literally only fished about maybe 10 times my whole life. And then decided I was going to go out and buy, a $3,000 kayak and some camera equipment and start a YouTube channel about fishing. Now, why I decided that, I don't know, but I was looking up kayak fishing at that time. So you and Yak Motley had popped up. And I was watching some of your videos when I first got started down here. So that's awesome. Crazy. That was back when you guys were doing the Saltugan stuff.
Oh, yeah. Young days.
Yeah.
I kind of look at that and I kind of cringe sometimes. Like, ooh, what were you thinking? But
do you ever go back and watch your old videos?
Yeah, I have actually a couple of days ago, and I was like, oh, gosh, Jack.
It's so important. I mean, you can ask the audience, and I tell people, because we get, and I'm sure you get this as well, what do I need to do to be a better content creator? What do I need to do to grow my channel? I want to be Jack Moran. And I'm like, my videos don't look like his. Now I tell people, I'm like, well, then stop watching Jack's videos today. Number one, be yourself.
Exactly.
Number two, if you really want to follow Jack's path, that's fine. But go back and watch Jack in the beginning, because that's where you are now. You haven't put the time in that a Jack has put in to get to where he's at. So I say this all the time. You're setting yourself up for failure if you look at a content creator who has been doing this for 2, 3, 5, 7 years, whatever, and you're trying to make a video like they're making a video today, you're not going to be as comfortable on camera. You're not going to have the skills that these guys have. It's just so many people don't understand what it takes to film a fishing video.
Yeah,
because the fishing is such a small portion of it.
It's a very small portion. I mean, it's kind of like, I don't know, I can't really put it in words what it's like sometimes when you first start out. Like, I watch other videos, try to get inspiration. I'm like, I want to kind of follow this route. But then I finally just went into my own road and did my own thing, you know?
Yeah. And you have to, because you can't make anybody else's video, because what sells these videos, and if you correct me if you think I'm wrong, it's all personality based. Like, it truly is. Like, it doesn't matter. The fish is so unimportant in the grand scheme of things. Like, with what we're doing, they watch you for the
entertainment.
Yeah, for the experience. It's for entertainment purposes only. I tell people that all the time. My buddy John Dalton from Creek Fishing Adventures, I don't know if you know John or not, but he has literally based his whole channel off catching creek fish, which are all small fish. But his audience could care less whether he watches or whether he catches a fish. All his audience is there for is to see the scenery around where he's at that day. They love walking these creeks with him. That's what they want to do. They love sitting on his kayak with him and going down these creeks. Hey, if you catch a fish, it's a bonus.
Yeah.
But they're there for the scenery and for John's like calming talk. If you've never listened to John talk, it's like the most calming thing in the world when he opens his mouth. It's insane. So, but that's, you have to base your channel on what your audience is looking for from you. And it's not necessarily always the biggest, baddest fish. Because you can go on YouTube right now and find 10 million videos about people catching, the biggest, baddest fish. But a lot of them don't do well because they just sit there and they never talk, and you don't know them. You're not on the boat with them.
I understand that. That was my biggest part when I first started out. I was like, I need the biggest fish. I need the best video. I need like jag screaming, every time. But what I've noticed is it doesn't matter if I can catch a 2-pin fish and I've talked to the crowd or the audience, and they love it, It doesn't matter what you catch.
Well, and you have to take into consideration, and especially here where we are so heavy on tourists here. And I've stressed this, we're on the Cameraman Ron channel so much. Like, if we go out on the beach and we catch 20 ladyfish, we hate it. I mean, let's be honest, we hate it. If somebody comes here from like Indiana and they go out there and they buy a diamond jig and a $20 rod and reel from Walmart and they start catching ladyfish and they catch 20 in a day, they just had the greatest fishing day of their life.
100%.
No questions asked. They just have, they don't care. They're not, most of them aren't looking for food that are coming here for tourists. They just want to bend a rod. And that's, so pinfish, ladyfish, trash fish to us. I try not to use that word too much, but everybody says that. But I mean, if somebody comes from Indiana and they're catching ladyfish, they're having the greatest day. Because a lady, I'm telling you right now, if you've never caught a ladyfish, once you get it out of your mind of what it is, one of the funnest fighting fish.
It is definitely fun.
That and Jack Crevalle.
Jack, I love Jacks.
Yeah, everybody. I always say that jacks are the fish that you love to catch, but you don't want your buddies to see you doing it. Because I'm telling you, there's never a time when you catch a jack that it's not the most fun experience of your life. But then you post it and you're like, yeah, it was just, I just caught a jack. You play it up like it's no big deal. But when you watch the video, you're out there having the time of your life fighting this fish.
Yeah. I love jacks. Jacks are so
and
much fun.
you just caught a couple big ones right down off the beach, right? You guys got,
me and Sean. Yeah, every rod literally went off, and we got lucky and landed 2 of them.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And I never have that kind of luck where all the rods go off at once. That's very, very, I don't know that I've ever had that happen. So.
That's the first time for me. I'd rather be lucky than good anytime.
That's right. Yeah, fishing is all about luck. It doesn't matter who you are or what you are. You got to be pretty lucky out there. So
time on the water.
That's right.
All it takes.
And I truly believe that. I used to think that was kind of BS. I'll be honest with you, because I'm a self-admitted not very good at fishing. I love the heck out of it, but I struggle with it. But I will say that for the first time this year, I feel like all the stuff I've picked up from all these people over the last 2 or 3 years is like starting to click. Like I'm doing things now that like I'll look around and I'm like, I'm getting fairly good at this. Like my buddies were out on the boat the other day, and like everybody was doing the same thing. And I'm just like reeling in fish after fish after fish. And they're not catching anything. And they're like, what are we doing wrong? And I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. And I really don't. I'm just like, I just have a feel for exactly where my bait needs to be in the water now. I was like, there's no magic switch. I know where to put it, and it's working. And they're like, well, and it was a struggle.
It just happens by accident, You start learning,
Yeah, I think so. I think it is. And it's, it's so important to pick up. The fishing world is such a a dramatic place where everybody has to do their own thing. And if you're not catching fish the way, you know, Jack doesn't catch fish the way I catch fish, or I don't catch fish the way Jack catches fish, everybody's like, oh, well, you're doing it wrong. I saw Jack do this the last week, and then they'll comment on Jack's video, well, that's not how Ron did it. Well, we both caught fish, so what does it matter? It's like, you know, nobody cares.
Exactly.
Or actually, everybody cares.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah, everybody does care. Me and Sean have that conversation all the time. You know, I do it this way, he does it this way. No, I'm better than you. No, I'm better than you. But that's just me and Sean, though. We have that energy.
And if you guys aren't familiar with Sean Lawless, him and Jack. Sorry, I was getting ready to say Yak and Jack. Call you by your YouTube name. Him and Jack fish together quite often. The Lawless Tide. He's like in Panama right now or something, right? Yeah.
Lucky.
What's he going down there to target? Just
I mean, I didn't want to say because I'm so jealous, but it's a rooster fish.
Oh, okay.
Bear snapper, yellowfin, all from the kayak.
So is he doing like is that where Robert Fields' fish is at?
That's close. He's going to the Chopok Star Lodge.
Okay.
So it's put on by Saltwater Sportsman.
Okay.
I was going to go, but I couldn't get my passport, everything in line at the time. I was like, no, I missed it, but I'm happy for him. He gets to go.
That'll be a cool trip.
Life-changing.
And it's funny because, and this is a prime example of what we were just talking about. So a rooster fish, I think for most of us is like a dream fish. But those guys, it's like, it's no different than catching a redfish to them.
Yeah,
the ones that live down there, they're just like, oh, it's just a rooster fish. And that's the difference in what your area provides for you to what kind of gets your blood pumping. For us, you know, if we go out here and we catch a 30-inch redfish, it's fun. Don't get me wrong, but it's kind of status quo. We catch them all the time.
Dime a dozen.
Yeah, but there might be somebody that comes over here from the southeast coast of Florida who very rarely catches redfish. They love it. You know, they don't have a lot of them down there. So that's a great fish for them. And then, of course, Sean going down there to target some rooster fish. Do they have peacock bass there? Do they have the big ones down there?
I'm not sure. In the Amazon, I know they do, but I'm sure they're fishing mostly saltwater.
Gotcha.
Over there. I wish they did. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, one of the coolest fish. I don't know if you follow Lawson Lindsay or not, but
of course
they went down to the Amazon and they targeted those peacock bass, and they were targeting these big giant peacock
poppers
bass
too.
Yeah. You know, have you ever fished for peacocks?
Yeah, I went to South Florida a couple of times. I caught small ones, but nothing like those giant ones that we're catching.
Yeah, so I guess I've caught a 3.5 pounder down there in the canal, which is not huge, but it is big for that area. And I caught him I was reeling in a live bait, and he exploded on topwater. I did not even realize that peacock bass would hit topwater. I don't know why that didn't occur to me. So the next time I went, I took just literally a little whopper plopper.
That's right.
Funnest day of my life.
That's what I'm talking about.
Just throwing it down the canal, reeling it, and they explode. Even the little ones, like they just like explode on stuff on top of the water. It was insane. Yeah. So they're a lot of fun to catch, though. And they're such a pretty fish.
They are.
It's something out of the norm for us too. So. I do want to talk about a trip you did recently take with Saltwater Sportsman. You guys went out to the oil rigs. I knew that one. I was kind of saving that till the end. I try to keep these around 30 minutes, but I was kind of saving that one till the end because I did know that you caught a massive yellowfin tuna. What was that fight like for you?
It was like, I can't explain. I was shaking the whole time. Like I had everything going through my head. Like, don't lose this fish. Don't mess it up. This is the video right here.
Yeah.
And when I first saw the fish, how big it was, like, I didn't know. I had no words at all. I was freaking out.
Did he make a second run on you once you got him to the boat, or no?
He went underneath the boat, and I had to go over, and the captain was like, "Don't lean too far." I'm like, "I'm not losing this fish."
Yeah, I'll go in if I have to. So that looked like it was a really fun trip. That was several of you guys were on that trip, but you guys landed some amazing tuna on that.
Too much
run,
tuna.
so.
I still have some in the freezer.
Really. So you guys did get to keep all that then?
Yeah, we gave it away, then kept some for ourselves.
Gotcha. Is that I know that being out there, were you all out there overnight?
Close. We didn't get back to almost 1 o'clock, and we left around 6. So it wasn't like we spent the night on the boat.
Yeah.
But the cooler was full. It was like there's no point of fishing, you know.
Right. At that point, you don't have any more to do. Yeah, for sure. So that definitely looked like a fun trip. I really wanted to get on the blackfin this year, and I still had my. I'm partnered with Feel Free Kayaks. I still have my kayak from last year, which was a 12-foot angler PD, and it was stable, but it wasn't stable enough that I was comfortable taking it offshore. And then I got the Dorado. They sent me the Dorado this year, which is like a 13-foot kayak, and it's like you can't turn it. You can, but you would literally be having to try to turn that boat over. And by the time I actually got it in my possession, we had like a week left and it was just stupid windy.
No,
and it
naturally,
just couldn't, just couldn't get out there. So I'm really looking forward. Well, I don't know why, but I'm really looking forward to next
It's
January
fun.
and February because I really, really want to land one of those.
Come out there with us.
Oh, I
Yeah,
definitely
for
will.
sure.
I've already talked to Sean. I want to get out there and just go fish the reefs with you all one time in the kayak. I think that would make a really great video for our channel.
Yeah.
I've never been offshore in a kayak. So
Snapper season is coming up.
I
so,
know,
man, I'm
June.
excited.
Yeah. So, and that's, that's such a unique thing about our fishery here. When you talk to guys over on the Atlantic side, it's, we got to go miles and miles offshore to get red
80
snapper.
miles on the west coast, like Tampa. They go like 80 miles off the beach just to get snapper.
Not us. I can literally take my boat 3 miles from my house and keep a red snapper all day. I mean, it's really, really nice that we have that fishery.
Yeah, we got an amazing fishery. This is paradise.
It
by
is.
Any means.
It is. And what's weird is we don't have as much water here as what they have in South Florida. And everybody, when I say that, people look at me like I'm crazy. And I'm like, they're like, well, you're on the Gulf of Mexico and you have bayous, you have bays. And we do. That's very true. But down there, there's everything. You've got canals. You've got saltwater canals, freshwater canals, the bays, the bayous, the ICW.
Yep.
Then you can go 3 miles offshore from Boynton Beach and you're in 400 foot of water.
And that's the real ocean. That ain't the Gulf. That's the ocean.
That's the ocean. That's the Atlantic. Yeah, and it's wild because when I went out with Darcy and Brian the very first time, I knew we were going offshore, and we were rolling out, and I was talking to Brian, and Sarah and Darcy were sitting in the back, and they were talking, and I knew we hadn't been on the boat that long. Because, I mean, like here, when you go offshore, you're going to run for 45 minutes before you can start fishing, for the most part. We'd only been running like 10, 12 minutes. And he's like, all right, we're ready to drop. I'm like, oh, are we getting bait? And he's like, no. He's like, we already got bait. He's like, we're dropping. He's like, go back there and put some squid on a chicken rig. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I like get it never even occurred to me to ask him like how that, but I drop it and I'm like, man, I think I missed the bottom. Like, I think I missed one. I'm like, I think I'm dragging the bottom. He's like, no, he's like, you're probably not on the bottom. I was like, how deep are we? He's like 450 foot and I can still see land. And I'm like, what? I'm like, are you sure? And he's like, it's what the graph says. And I fish here all the time. So yeah, I'm pretty sure. So it's wild out there that it's so much different than what it is here. So any big plans coming up before we wrap up here that you're looking forward to?
Yeah, I got a couple of them. Actually, I'm going back out with Captain Kirk, Saltwater Sportsman, to target big red snapper and grouper slow pitch jigging coming up in June.
Yeah.
Super pumped for that one. And in July, me, Sean, and a couple other guys are going to ICAST and fish in South Florida.
Nice. And that's always a great time to go down there and do that fishing. It's such a cool fishery in South Florida. I love going down there in the winter just because we get cold water here and they never cool down. So it's like they get it all the time. So well, man, I appreciate you coming in and sitting down with me and taking a little bit of time. I hope I had a miscommunication. I actually sent Jack to my house before this started. When he asked me what the address was, I just sent him the address of the house. I'm like, yeah, let's start there. But I was here at the office. So appreciate you sitting down with me and coming in. Best of luck to you, man. I'm so excited for you that you're going to be able to do the content creation full time. Super excited. If you guys are not familiar with Jack's channel, I've got all of his stuff linked down in the description box below. Make sure y'all go check him out. If you're coming over from the Cameraman Ron channel, I promise you guys, you are going to love his channel. He does so much cool stuff down here in the Florida Panhandle. And he's a heck of a fisherman. You guys are really going to enjoy him. But again, thank you so much for sitting down with me. We greatly appreciate it.
Thank you.
Guys, that's all I got for you today. I truly hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure you smash that like button. And as always, make sure you find a way to make somebody smile. You never know. It just might change the world. We'll see y'all on the next one.